For Cricutmas Day 8, we're going to be talking about the Smart Sticker Cardstock. Now, this stuff was a little bit tricky for me to wrap my head around because obviously it's sticker paper that's in fact cardstock and not paper or vinyl. I mean, it seems like a very basic principle, but for some reason my brain just goes, what? Because it's not something that many people have kind of paired together at this stage. It makes your life a lot easier because if you're going to be sticking things down with glue, obviously it has adhesive on the back, so you don't need to worry about applying glue to it. But for me, the nicer thing about the sticker cardstock is the fact that it's actually kind of a really smooth, so it's almost more of a hot press cardstock, because obviously when it comes to watercolor paper, you have a cold press which is very grainy, and then you have a hot press which is much smoother. So this is a much smoother surface, which is also really nice. So that it really makes it really nice to work with when it comes to drawing. So you can draw on the sticker cardstock, which is probably the one thing that people use the most. So what I'm going to be showing you today is how I'm going to be using the Smart Sticker Cardstock this Christmas. Every year, or almost every year, I try to do something a little bit fun. And a couple of years ago, I made something called reindeer poop. Not actual reindeer poop. I live in South Africa and I don't think I've ever even seen an actual reindeer. But reindeer poop is actually little raisins covered in chocolate. So it's these little packets of tumbles, the raisin one specifically, not the shortcake one. My parents kind of used to do this when I was growing up, to put those tumbles, maybe not that exact brand because that's quite an expensive one. It was on special, which is why I bought it. And they would put it in a brown bag, or they would buy it already in a brown bag and it would have, reindeer poop written on it or whatever the case may be. But I like doing this to kind of, recreate my childhood, and I figured that the Smart Sticker Cardstock was one of the best routes to go to with this. Because what you can do is you can take an ordinary brown bag, or in this particular case, I'm going to use a plastic bag because I don't actually have any brown bags available at the moment, and the shops are a bit mental now, so I don't really want to go there right now. So I'm just going to be using the little cellophane baggies that I got from Merry Pack. They do have their own little sealable strip, which is pretty cool, but I'm going to be using the Smart Sticker Cardstock as a kind of a closing on the top of the bag. So you put some of the reindeer poop in the bag, and then you use the sticker cardstock to kind of close over it. So it creates a nice seal, because most of the time you'll use cardstock or craft board or whatever the case may be, and you'll have to staple it on or glue it on yourself. This is just a nice, super quick way of, solving that problem. Some more information about the actual Smart Sticker Cardstock. So they usually come in a pack of 10. The one that I have is a pack of 10. It's the pastel range, and they're around 300 Rand for the pack. Now, that obviously works out to about 30 Rand a page, which, I'm not going to lie, is obviously quite expensive considering the fact that normal cardstock works out to around 7 Rand a page. So you may have to figure out whether this is something that is worth it for you. It's obviously going to be a lot less effort, and we all know convenience is expensive. Because with this, you can obviously pull it up, stick it straight down. You don't have to worry about finding your glue, putting the glue on, then waiting for the glue to dry, those kinds of things. Or having a Xyron and running it through the Xyron and creating your own sticker, because the Xyron refills are pretty expensive themselves. So it kind of trades price for convenience. And like I said, I'm not 100% sure if it is worth it for you. You'll have to figure that out. But for me, I really like the product. Even though it is on the pricey side, I probably won't use it for just every project. But it is nice to be able to use, every now and then. It is also obviously meant for the Explore 3 or the Cricut Maker 3. So the 3 range. But I have heard that if you want to use it in the Maker or in the Explorer, you probably can, but they say that you need to load it onto a mat. Theoretically, in my mind, you wouldn't need a mat because obviously it does have the backing at the back. So theoretically, it is the right length and it should be able to go through, but I haven't tested that yet. So if you are going to try that, please try that with a little bit of caution and be prepared that you may actually, mess up your cutting strip. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But if you want to try, I mean, who's going to stop you? So the first time I used the Smart Sticker Cardstock was actually the sample that I got when I opened my Maker 3. I used it in my 100th video, where I actually made a little piece of it that says 100th video, and A problem that I only came across after I'd used it was, okay, I've now cut this word, how do I transfer it? Because obviously with vinyl, you normally use transfer tape, you stick the transfer tape on, you peel it off, you stick it down. But all of the videos that I've seen, nobody's used transfer tape. They've all just peeled it up off the backing and then stuck it down onto the thing that they wanted to put it onto. And even on Cricut's video, they say that you should rather use things that are all interconnected as opposed to something where you're going to have to individually place the elements. So in my mind, that kind of tells me that you're not supposed to be using transfer tape with it, obviously logically, because it'll rip up the top layer of the cardstock and potentially damage the cardstock. But again, my mind always goes to, okay, sure, that makes sense, but could I not maybe use low-tack transfer tape? So that's definitely something that I'm going to try. So stick around for a video. I'll add it to the list. My list of video titles that I want to do is incredibly long, but I do definitely want to get to it at some point. Now, when it comes to cutting the cardstock, like I mentioned, you typically want to stay with a design that has one particular element. The actual cut settings on the Cricut actually performs a kiss cut. So this essentially means that there is 2 layers to the particular substrate, like you would have your vinyl or your iron-on or, you know, those kinds of things where there's the actual vinyl and then there's the backing. A kiss cut means that you pierce only the top layer and it doesn't pierce the second layer. So if you've pierced the second layer, chances are your pressure is far too high because it's actually gone through the top layer and it's gone to the second layer. You should be okay with the settings in the machine. My blade is like super sharp, so typically when I'm cutting things I always cut it on less pressure because it just kind of cuts too well. But always make sure that you're doing test cuts before you're cutting things, and if you want to check out a video on test cuts, I will leave a link up in the info cards above. So what I did for this video was I designed a little reindeer thingy in Cricut Design Space. Unfortunately I can't share it because I can't obviously export from Cricut Design Space, but all I did in this case was I took an image, I changed the cut feature to draw, and that kind of made my little reindeer. Then I added in some fun Christmas text for reindeer poop. I then duplicated the design and turned it so that we would have the same kind of sticker on either side of the packet, so it didn't matter where it was oriented. I attached those together and I created an offset. I then had to change the offset to cut, as obviously this will be the actual part that is getting cut out of the sticker cardstock, and the rest is going to be drawn with a pen. Now, in order to get 9 on a page, I had to play with the size a little bit and duplicate the designs to make them stay within these normal cut size parameters, which is just under 30 centimeters for your normal cut size. And then I can manage to fit 9 on a page in this particular instance. So then we, of course, load our pen into the Cricut, we send it to cut, and we then stick it on together. So it's going to look super cute. So this is what we ended up with at the end of the day, and I think that this particular craft is super cute. It's going to look amazing on the Christmas table. I'm super excited to see everybody's reactions to it. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for a few more Cricutmas related videos in the future, as we are nearing the end of Cricutmas now and we're going to be wrapping up quite soon. So I hope that you have an amazing day, and remember, be kind to someone today. See you soon!